Hi, everyone. This is Lisa.
And this is Ada.
Welcome back to the Opinion Piece. And since it's New Year, well, I guess we should say, right? Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holiday. Or if they didn't, let's just move on and start the new year fresh.
Yes, it is a new year, new beginnings, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We are, I think, going to move on with the year and try to talk a little bit about like forgiveness and healing from the past.
That's a good idea. Since it is a new year, especially.
Yeah.
Right? Let's move
It's
on.
like
from
start
that.
over.
Good idea. I like
Yeah.
that, Ada.
Yeah.
I like it. I like where you're going. I mean,
Yeah.
are we talking childhood trauma or any trauma? I think we should just generalize it, right? Any trauma.
I mean, I guess for me personally, childhood trauma is the most difficult thing. I mean, my life currently, like I have some random stuff that I could definitely let go of for sure. You know, people that I don't need anymore. Those people that, but
Have a hard
child,
time letting go.
yeah, but childhood for me is the part that I'm getting over. And this whole past year has been all about reflecting on that, trying to grow from it, and trying to forgive those people that caused that trauma for me. And I think it's really important to just realize that it happened and come to terms with it. What about you? I mean, I think it's kind of both, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely have a lot of childhood trauma, which actually caused adult trauma. I mean, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I guess I don't know how thoughtful that was to say because I'm not really sure. But I think it did make a difference, like in the choices that I made as an adult. But no, I do have a lot of trauma and I'm constantly trying to heal from it. It's really important that you heal from it. It's really hard to forgive. And the hardest part, I think, to overcome, which is the most important part that I think is overcoming that anger that is associated with it. Because, you usually take away a lot of anger from that trauma, right?
Right.
And I am just, me personally, I am like a very loving, open person, and I lost that for a long time, and I'm struggling to try to get that back and let go of this anger that is just the opposite of my personality. I hate it so much. I really do. And how do you do that? Like, how do you forgive? You have to forgive, but you have to heal in order to move on, because the anger is only going to hold you back,
Right.
and it's going to stop you from healing, and it's not healthy in any way. It's going to stop you from progressing and where you need to go, and it's going to stop you from your joy. It's going to stop you from everything.
Definitely.
Anger's bad. I mean,
I think one way to heal could be possibly realizing that without those traumas, you might not be the person you are.
it's true.
So if you can maybe understand that you wouldn't have certain things, maybe, we wouldn't have our children
Yeah.
if those things didn't happen.
Yeah.
And although those moments are hard, they led us here. And we've talked about this before in previous episodes where we were led to this point. And we could have been in a totally different spot and maybe not as grateful for things as we are now. I mean, if you're given everything so perfectly right off the bat, you kind of lose that gratitude and for the stuff you have now. I mean, does that make sense?
Actually, it makes perfect sense. You made me think of gratitude and strength and how God uses. I just feel like He uses everything for good, no matter what. And I wouldn't be where I am today because with everything I've been through, and I mean, I felt like I was so weak and shy, and my stomach would always be in knots, and I was like afraid of my own shadow. So
Right.
now, because I've been through all of those things, and I feel like it strengthened me. It really strengthened me. I don't think I was a strong person. I really don't. I was afraid of everything, but I feel strong. I feel I don't know. It's just so empowering. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that I could have found that if it wasn't for the things that I went through with the people that I went through.
Right.
You know what I mean? The key to recovery is forgiveness and letting go of anger and resentment. Forgiving doesn't mean saying the pain doesn't matter or that what the other person said or did was okay. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means letting go of your need for an apology or for revenge. The healing power of forgiveness. This is Psychology
like
Today.
that.
I love Psychology Today. I just like to get like give a little tidbit.
Yeah, no,
I like to
actually,
do
I really
that.
like that. That helps.
It does
because
help.
It's without needing an apology. Like, it would be nice to have an apology,
Yeah.
but, you know, a lot of people don't think they did anything wrong, which is pretty,
Yeah, look how they start. Perhaps resentment over a past conflict or betrayal has clouded your relationship with your spouse. Perhaps dwelling on how a friend, maybe someone you no longer see, once hurt you, contributes to your current stress. That kind of stuff. Perhaps clinging to past pain and the ways others have disappointed you is keeping you from seeing and embracing new possibilities. Holding on to past pain can also be hazardous to your physical health. A number of studies have linked continuing resentment and grudges to high blood pressure, risks of heart disease, and cognitive decline. In short, bitterness is bad for your health. The key to recovery is forgiveness and letting go of anger and resentment, no question.
you can't heal if you don't forgive those people.
And just because you forgive doesn't mean you have to forget.
Right. And it doesn't mean you have to still
Tolerate.
have relationships with them. You can move on from those people and situations. You don't have to be around them anymore. But you still need to make peace with it.
Yes, you do. Yeah. I'm just being reminded of, you said something about certain people that maybe you shouldn't have in your life anymore. So I started thinking about toxic people and establishing boundaries. And I'm only saying that because it's kind of like on the lines of part of the process of being able to prevent yourself from having further trauma that you have to heal from and forgive. You know, boundaries are important.
Absolutely.
I'm so bad at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my problem is I forgive and then I forgive again. I get sucked back in. I forgive again. I get sucked back in. I forgive again. The more times I do that, the more hurt I become and the more angry I become because I just get so mad at myself. And I'm naturally a very forgiving person. It's just who I am. And I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because then I just get hurt over and over and over and over again. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, when am I going to learn? And I
Yeah.
keep letting these people back into my life in one facet or another. And
Well, and the sad thing is those
So
people see that
frustrating.
you're an easy target.
I know,
know
it's so true.
They know they can do that to you because you're allowing it, and it's just going to be a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and it makes it worse, and it
So-
makes it so much more intense. The hurt and the anger and and then I take that anger and I feel that anger and it's harming myself.
But I think the forgiveness part and the healing part, that's on you. Like,
Yeah.
that's for you.
Yeah.
Because you can't fix anybody.
No.
You're not going to be able to forgive them and heal them.
Right.
And fix them.
Yes.
It's all on you. So.
Maybe that's what I always try to do is try to fix everybody.
Right.
I'm a fixer.
Oh, and
Like,
you
I wanna
believe
heal
people.
relationships.
Yeah, you believe people when they tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry, I won't do this again," or whatever it is. You know, you have that hope for people to change, and if it's
can't
been that
change
many
anyone.
times over and over again, it's not happening. So
No.
the forgiveness and the healing is on you to do.
And then what do you do from there? Right?
Well, and that's where it gets tricky
That's
because
where it gets
that's where you have to
tricky.
start drawing lines.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think in the situation we're talking about, it's not as easy as just being like,
Right.
I'm gonna be like done with
Right.
that person, you know?
Yeah, because most of these people, like, if we're talking about hurt, who do you get hurt from the most? The people that you're closest to, right?
Right.
I mean, in one, it could
And
be a
sometimes
brother or
you
a
just-
sister or a parent or a spouse or I don't know, significant other. It could be, we're just speaking generally.
People that
here.
aren't as easy to cut out
Yeah.
though are the hard ones.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
because you love your family,
Yeah.
you know, and you can't always cut them out,
Right.
but you can distance.
Boundaries. You have to establish boundaries to protect yourself.
Right.
You do. you know, and it doesn't mean that you love them any less. It's just that you have to guard your heart. I've never been I have a girlfriend who always tells me that, and I don't know why I never listen to her. I try so, I'm not good at guarding my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I mean, I'm not good at it, but you really do. You have to guard your heart.
It's true.
You do. I suck at it.
Yeah, no, she's definitely right on that point.
She is.
I mean, easier said than done,
Just like most things.
but forgive, heal, and distance
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on it. It takes time too. Like, it's not going to happen right away. You can't just expect it, like, okay, I forgive you and I'm all healed, I'm all better, let's move on with my life. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
I mean, I would definitely say to seek therapy,
Yeah.
if possible, but
Yeah.
if that's not an option, I have found there's a lot of good self-help podcasts out there.
Yeah.
One in particular, if I can give a shout out,
Yeah,
because
why not?
these ladies have helped me tremendously. And like, honestly, I started listening to them, realizing that I've never fully recovered from anything that went on in my childhood, and honestly never really accepted it.
Yeah.
Never really addressed it at all, and just kind of pretended nothing happened. And it's crazy. Like, so I listened to this podcast and they really changed my life. It's Self Healer Soundboard. I follow them on Instagram and Spotify and all that, and they just talk a lot about trauma and healing
Yeah.
from past trauma. It's amazing. It's a great tool. So if you can't go to actual therapy, that would be another option, or books, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Therapy is definitely beneficial as well. But
Yeah.
trauma. Oh my gosh, there's so much study on it. I mean, I have more than just childhood trauma, but it really does affect you in a very powerful way.
And in
Trauma.
turn affects your children, affects the
Yes.
people around you.
Your relationships.
So if you can't heal from it, then how do you move on? How do you move forward with your life
In a-
happily in
yeah.
in a healthy way?
in a healthy way. That's exactly right. Healthy,
Right.
happy, joyous way. It's not easy.
Right.
But we have to address these things in order to make it better. You can't just like keep doing the same thing, right? And expect things to change.
That's
like
the definition of
of
insanity.
insanity. Yeah.
Right.
It's like, hello.
Right.
Hello. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I know. But that's me on the vicious cycle. Like, okay, I'm gonna forgive and let back in and forgive and let back in and forgive and let back in. Like, I am the definition of insanity, I think, right? In that regard. Like,
Now you're coming
but
to terms with
I know.
it. You're
Recognizing it,
Yes.
coming to terms with it. Terms. Okay. Yeah. And really, really trying to heal from the anger
yes.
and establish those very well needed boundaries.
Yeah. And that could go back to what we have said in the past with habits, and maybe you don't forgive immediately, and you can say it again and again and really try to like continue to create the habit of trying to heal by
Yeah.
doing those little therapy things, and then eventually it'll
Oh, all your
come
tools.
to you. All of the
Using your
tools.
Use all of the things. Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
things.
All of the things. Yeah, because you can't change other people. You can only change yourself.
Right.
So, and it's hard enough to understand yourself. Please just don't try to understand
Yeah.
other people. It just-
Once I've figured that out, and I've always known, everybody says that, you can't
Yeah.
fix anybody
You can't.
else.
I thought I could.
But once you really, really, truly come to terms with that, it really does take a load off,
It does.
because then you're just realizing, well, no one's making me react that way.
Right.
I am reacting. I'm doing it.
Yeah. You can only control yourself. And you can't control what other people do, but you can control how you react to that. Right? So first you want to take time to process your pain. You want to embrace the power to make a difference in your life. Forgive yourself and engage in positive self-talk. I talk about that a lot. I don't know about on here, but in general. Try understanding rather than demonizing each other. Demonizing the other. Try understanding rather than demonizing the other.
Well, and that's what we
That's-
talked about with like parents. because
good.
then you start to like walk in their shoes a little bit.
Yeah.
And think about
How
stuff,
they were, yeah,
what they were dealing with at the time.
yeah, whoever this person may be, right?
But then it's hard to understand sometimes
Of
too.
course
But
it's hard to understand.
my question would be like, and I don't know if that's addressed there, but do you talk to them about it? Like I've tried with an old friend in the past to be like, what happened? Like
Yeah.
what did I do? Or, you know, something that was just an unexplainable kind of situation where I was
Right.
just like, I didn't understand what happened to our
Right.
friendship, that
Right.
kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I tried to address it and it was dismissed.
It was.
And it was one of those things where it's like, you're such good friends, and then somebody just easily dismisses you and just pretends like
I had
your
that
whole
happen to me.
relation isn't. But
Yeah.
how?
I still don't understand. Like, I'm still like, what the heck happened? We were so close, like,
Right.
over all the time, like, so close with the kids, and like, just dropped me like a hot potato. And I'm like,
Right.
What
But
the
that's
flip?
where like I feel like, do you
no
talk
reason,
to
no
those
answer.
people?
I try. Well,
Well, and
don't
I
know.
did too.
So me too. I'm like, what? You know, what's going on? Are you know, I don't know, whatever. And it's just like excuse after an excuse. And I would reach out randomly and thinking of you, whatever, and
Right.
nothing, just like nothing. I'm like,
Same.
but I still
But
don't
that's-
understand why. Like,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so do you address like
What do
other
you-
things like traumas and talking to people that might have caused that trauma?
depends-
Do you address that with them? Do you go
Well,
to therapy? Like
you
what?
can go to therapy, but I don't know about addressing it with them. Well, this is the thing when you try to address it with people, especially if it's like, I mean, it really depends on the situation and the person. If you try to do it with a parent, they're going to get defensive.
Right.
I mean, if it's a significant other, of course, like,
When most people do get defensive, and it's honestly, so do I. Like you try to defend
Yeah.
yourself and try to say like, well, this is why I did it.
you should always try to talk about it. I would
But then
imagine,
I'm
right?
thinking, well, going back to what I said earlier about forgiveness is more on you. So you
Yeah,
just have to
this-
do it within yourself.
Yeah,
So
that-
it's really like, what's the point of talking about it to them? What is the
Yeah, that's
benefit?
why
You're hoping for an apology
it
at that point.
completely depends on the situation. Like, if
Yeah.
you're still in, you know, like it totally depends on the situation. Like, if it's a past relationship or whatever, like, you know, I mean, I think like that would be just looking for closure. But
Yeah. Well, and that's what I wanted, closure.
yeah, that's different.
But then like, you're trying to seek an apology if you're addressing a
Yeah,
trauma.
you're not,
And at that
or
point, I just
seeking
feel like,
understanding, maybe, like
Yeah.
trying to understand.
yeah.
I
And then
don't know.
maybe at that point, you're just it's a lost cause because it might make you feel worse.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know.
I guess it depends on the situation.
This just says realize that forgiveness benefits you most of all. The
Oh, well,
other,
exactly.
I was trying to spit it out. I'm so sorry. I got most of it out. I'm a little slow. No. Realize that forgiveness benefits you most of all. The other person may never know about your forgiveness, but forgiving and letting go can lighten the load on your body and on your spirit, releasing the anger and resentment, stopping the rumination. What's rumination? Why do I
It's
not know
like
that word?
the
Stopping
stewing
rumination.
in it. You're like
Oh,
ruminating
yeah.
in it. You're like stewing in the.
Stopping the rumination and revenge fantasies can make room for hope and compassion and an abundance of joy in your life. I like that. Now, here's the other thing, okay? We're talking about forgiveness and letting go and healing from trauma. How do you do that when you have to keep dealing with these people
Right.
that
well,
hurt
which,
you over
right.
and over and over and over and over again, right? But you have to deal with them. And you try really hard to be like positive and, you know, keep it, you know, and it just, how do you?
Well, and that's
how?
what we were just talking about. It's like hard, you have to set boundaries, I guess. But sometimes those people are hard to set boundaries with. They don't care. So I think it's more of just like a continuous work on your part to help your mental state and help you deal with those people. If you truly have to be,
Like have to be in their lives.
yeah, like you have no choice.
Right.
So I think that is
Establishing boundaries, I guess, would be
Yeah.
the way to handle that, right?
just say like, I love you, but I can't tolerate this kind of behavior. It's not good for me. It's not good for my health. I can't allow you to treat me this way. And you just have to keep doing it, I think. I mean, what else will you do, you know?
Good question.
But again, those girls that I was talking about, the self-healer soundboard,
Yeah.
they're very good with that. They address all those things.
Love it.
They are experts. I think they're like psychologists or something, therapists.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's easy when, if it's a past trauma. Not easy, but
Easier to distance yourself.
yes.
But it's hard to distance
But it's
those
hard to
people
heal,
that-
and that's the thing. Like, because here's my thing. I heal, and then it happens again, and then I heal, and it happens again, and I forgive, and I heal, and it happens again. I forgive, and I heal, and it happens again.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, like, again, definition of insanity. Like, how long can this go on?
Right.
I mean, and this is just, a couple of people in my life, but
Right.
it's really, I can only take so much. I can only take so much. Of course, I feel like I'm turning into a crazy person. Like, I know I'm not, but.
No, but it happens. Like, it definitely happens. It's all about just fixing yourself, though. Again, we can't fix them.
Yeah, we can only.
And you'll drive yourself crazy
Yeah.
trying to.
Yeah.
So you just need to keep on reminding yourself.
Yeah.
They aren't getting any different. They aren't
Right.
changing. They aren't
Yeah,
healing.
so I have to change
Unfortunately,
my
yeah.
reaction and my approach,
Yes.
right?
So what do you guys think? Do you have a hard time letting go of the past traumas? How do you deal with them? Can you forgive easily, or is it hard for you?
Are you holding on to things, or can you let them go?
Right. Let us
Right.
know. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the things.
All the things. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.